Hello guys, welcome to a great new video, and in this new video we are going to configure a remote VPN SSL using Cisco Anyconnect, and of course this Cisco ASA or Firewall, whatever you want to call it. So what we have configured is we did a bunch of stuff. We configured a TACACS server, we configured this router to use a TACACS server, and we also do NTP on the video before. So now we're going to configure this firewall over here, and so we can launch the ASDM. So then from the ASDM we are going to configure that um, Cisco AnyConnect remote Cisco AnyConnect SSL remote client VPN, whatever you want to call it. So that's what we're going to do in this video. So I have configured this interface right here, and I call this interface the internet interface, and then I also configure this interface right here, and I give it an IP address of 172.16.1.1, which is going to be the default gateway for that inside network. So first thing that I want to do is let's go to config T, and let's go ahead and configure a static route, and this route is going to go to the internet, and what I'm going to tell this firewall is to send all the traffic to 145.1.1.2, which is the router, and that way we should be able to connect to this Windows server. We also need to go to the router and configure IP route the same way, and it's going to be going to 145.1.1.1, which is the ASA. So that way we're going to be able to send traffic back and forward. 145.1.1.1. There we go. And then let's go ahead and save it. Let's go ahead and close the switch since we're not going to be using it right now. So now end it. Let's go ahead and save it over here. And now what we want to do is I also configure the HTTP server on this firewall. If you haven't seen the previous video, go ahead and please watch the video and then continue on this video. Otherwise, you're going to be a little bit lost. So now let's go ahead and launch this ASDM, and I'm going to leave you a link on the description below so you guys can add this ASDM to your GNS3. What we're going to do is we're going to configure an IP address. So ifconfig ETH0 172.16.1.2 net mask of /24, and then we're going to do a route add a default gateway, and the default gateway is going to be 172.16.1.1, right? Let me see, route add default, uh, I put DW as GW, there you go. And now I should be able to pin my default gateway. As you can see, I'm able to pin my default gateway, so this is great. Guys, it is working the way I wanted it. So let's go ahead and just exit this, and let's go ahead and launch my ASDM. And I want to connect to 16.1.1.1. There it is. Let's just say always trust. Thank you. And this video that I'm doing is going to be for the CCNA security, guys. So all the videos that I'm doing recently is going to be for the CCNA security until I pass this. And then after I pass this, I'm going to be doing videos for the CCNP security. So over here, it's going to ask me for the username and password. Since I did not configure any, we're just going to click OK. And this is going to launch that Cisco ASDM slash IDM launcher. I don't know why it's taking that long. It shouldn't be taking this long, but I believe it's because of this switch, maybe. I don't know. So let me go ahead and show you which one is the application that I'm using for the ASDM, so you could be able to do the same. And for this one, I use the ASDM GNS3. Let's see if I can find it. And it's this website right here. This is the IP address. This is the one that I use to configure the Firewall ASA with ASDM. And this is the way that you could add this ASDM to your GNS3. It is really easy to do. So if you guys want to go ahead and do that, you should go ahead and do that because otherwise you won't be able to launch the ASDM unless you have a different way to launch this. If you do have a different way, please leave a comment on this video below so I can go ahead and take a look at how you do it or how you did it. So, but so far this is the only way that has worked for me. And thank you to Bernhard. I tried to find this guy on Twitter, but I could not find him, so I could tweet him and say thank you. But if you guys have his Twitter account or if you are the one that wrote this on blog, thank you for doing that because you are the reason why I'm able to launch this ASDM from the GNS3. I don't know why it's taking this long. It shouldn't be taking this long. The first time that it has taken this long, but let's just give it a couple seconds. And like I said, guys, and also if you guys have a Twitter account, you can go ahead and follow me at CCNA Daily Tips. And if you do not have a Twitter account, well, you can just go ahead and create a Twitter account because I believe you have an email. If you have an email, you can create a Twitter. So then after you create your Twitter account, you can go ahead and follow me. Let's go ahead and see where it is. Hmm. Getting updated software. Software completed. There we go. So as you can see right here, please wait. There we go. So we have launched this ASDM. So let's go ahead and configure that VPN. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a Anyconnect VPN Wizard. Click next. We're going to set this to Anyconnect. That's the name that we're going to give it. And we are going to connect to the interface, to the internet interface, which is the one over here. Click next. We are going to only use SSL, I believe, but if you want to use IPsec, if you know how to use it, you can go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and add a certificate, and we are going to add our own certificate. So we're going to add a new identity certificate. We're going to generate our own certificate. Let's go ahead and add it. There we go. Click OK. Click Next. Then we can just do an add a Cisco Anyconnect image. So you need to have a Cisco image. So let's go ahead and browse this. We're going to browse our firewall, and we're going to add that Anyconnect software that we have. And what's going to happen is that this Anyconnect is going to be downloaded into the Windows device that we have right here, and we're going to install it, and then we are going to be able to get to this ASA or this firewall. Next, then we can just configure a, a username. So we're going to add a local username. I always use the same password. So Cisco123. Then let's go ahead and add. Also, let's see if we're able to just also add the name. Let's go ahead and say TACACSGUI. The IP address of the server is 192.168. The 192.168.1.3. And this is located in the internet. The secret was what was it? TACACSGUI. TACACSGUI. There we go. So we have added this AAA server group. Let's go ahead and click next. And this is the IP addresses that is going to give the Anyconnect. And we are going to do a 192.168.20. Oops, that 21.1 all the way to 192.168.21.50. So these are the IP addresses that we are going to be using whenever we connect from this Windows device to this ASA. Those are the IP address that we are going to get assigned. And it's going to be a /24. Next, the DNS server and all that, we are not going to worry about that right now. So you go and click next. Do you want to set up? No, I don't want to set it up. and this is to exempt this traffic, the VPN traffic from network address translation because NAT breaks VPN traffic. So what's going to happen is we are going to just exempt this VPN. We are going to exempt the inside interfaces from any IPv4 addresses. So what's going to happen is it's not going to get natted. Um, so it's not going to add that the extra layer into the IPv4 frames. So let's go ahead and click next and allow web lounge. That's fine. And here is the summary. You can just click finish. And then after that, um, it looks like it is all good. And we are going to use the TACACS server, as you can see right here. Let's go ahead and save it. So now what is going to happen is, first of all, I want to see if I'm able to ping the ping 192.168.1.3. I want to see if I'm able to ping the TACACS server. So I'm able to ping the TACACS server. So that's good. That means that we have a connection and um, we should be able to log into the ASA using the TACACS server's usernames. And if you guys haven't seen my videos before on this, um, if you haven't seen the video before, go ahead and please watch it because we set up the TACACS server. So let's go ahead and go to the Windows device, which is this one. And as you can see, this is where we set up the TACACSGUI server, and you can log into ABC123. But then I also want to go to HTTPS 145.1.1.1, which is my site again, HTTPS. We want to get to this firewall. So what's going to happen is we are trying to reach this ASA firewall over here. And also let's see if I have already installed the Cisco Anyconnect, because if I have it installed, I need to remove it. So let's go ahead and uninstall it. Yes, because I installed it in a previous video. So I want to remove it first. And as you can see now, we have reached this firewall and it's saying that there is a certificate error, but we can just go ahead and go to the web page anyways. So now what we want to do is we want to log in with one of the users that we configure in the TACACS server. And I believe I configured two, which is admin and admin2. So let's go ahead and see if we are able to log in admin. And the password is Cisco123. So it doesn't let me log in admin, Cisco123. Yeah, so that doesn't let me log in. So let's go ahead and go back to the ASDM. And from the ASDM, we want to edit this profile over here. And what we want to do is we want to tell it to use local if the server group fails, right? Actually, let's just go ahead and remove this TACACS server, or we can just add the local account. Say 11. Cancel. Okay, let's go ahead and manage the local, but there's no usernames over here. Let's see if we go to group policy and right here, AAA local users, and we want to add local users and have one over here configure, which is Asker. Let's go ahead and edit my username. Let's give it a minute. Slow this, just a little bit slow right now. So change password to Cisco 123. Cisco 123. Security privilege of 15. That's fine. Okay, apply it, save it. Let's go ahead and go back to the connections. And from the connections, as you can see, it is using local, but we need to go to group policies. And from this one, we can just assign a local users, apply, save it. That's good. Let's go ahead and go back to the profiles. And let's say to use local account if the server group fails. No, apply, save it. Let's go ahead and go back to my Windows device. Let's go ahead and refresh or reload, whatever you want to call it. There we go. Let's try to log in with admin first. Cisco 123. Doesn't work. Let's go ahead and use Asker, the local account, Cisco 123. There you go. So that says that the TACACSGUI server is not working right now, but we can fix that later on. So now it is telling us to install the Anyconnect Secure Mobility Client. And as you can see, it is saying that you are attempting to launch the Zone Java applet, which is a digital sign and blah, blah, blah. So it is just telling you to download the Anyconnect. And what I want to do, I actually want to save it so then I can run it as an admin. Save it to my desktop. And now it is downloading. And let's go ahead and start this. Actually, I want to add another TACACSGUI server over here so we are able to remote it into it. Let's start. Let's go ahead to this my Windows device again. It has been downloaded. It is running the scans, running security scans. So you can see Anyconnect is there, but it is still okay. It is done downloading. And one thing that I want to show you guys is that if you go to actually the CMD, if you try to ping 172.16.1.2, which is the ASDM, it won't let you ping that ASDM right here, right? Because we do not have a connection to the um, to the firewall. So we need to connect to the firewall first. So let's go ahead and run this as an admin. So whenever we um, connect to this firewall, we should be able to ping this ASDM, which is 172.16.1.2. So after we install this, it's going to connect and connect to the firewall. We should be able to connect to it. Finish. And it should be showing soon. If it's not showing, you can always go to Anyconnect app and launch it. As you can see, it is saying ASA Japan, but we don't want to connect to that. We wanted to connect to 145.1.1.1. So this connection, whenever we get this connection, let's see if we can do how do you do a infinite pin? It is saying that's the security is untrusted server certificate. Let's connect anyway. And now it's asking me for my username and password, and password Cisco123. Connect anyway. Let's go ahead and find continuous ping in Windows. See if we can do a continuous ping. So it's ping T, negative T. Okay, that's what it is. Negative T. And as you can see, we're able to ping the 172.16.1.2, which is my ASDN. Before we're not able to do that. But if we disconnect from this VPN, they are going to fail. There we go, or timeout, because we're not able to reach this ASDN because we're not connected to the firewall right now. So we don't have a remote VPN connection. But if we connect to it, if we connect to the firewall, then it's going to give me access to the ASDN and to any of these devices right here. So I'm going to try to, let's go ahead and start this up and configure an IP address over here as well. It did not launch. Configure. It's probably because it's using Telnet. We gotta use VNC. Let's go ahead and configure the TACACS server, which is faster because I know how to configure root. 1234 ifconfig. We're going to ETH0 of 172.16.1.4 netmask 255.255.255.0, and then do a route at default gateway of 172.16.1.1, and now we should also be able to ping from my Windows device that location. So I will connect anyway. Cisco 123 to connect to the VPN, and then after we connect to the VPN, we should be able to get replies from 172.16.1.2. There we go, VPN. You should establish a connection soon. There we go. Now we have a connection, and now we are able to ping the ASDM. Now we should also be able to ping. Let's remove the continuous ping 172.16.1.4, which we just configured. And like I said before, if you disconnect um, from the VPN, you won't be able to ping that TACACS server. As you can see, we are disconnected. So that's how you configure a um, remote Cisco Anyconnect VPN connection using the Cisco firewall and the Windows device. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and leave me a question on this video before. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you a lot for watching my video. And if you guys want to go ahead and follow me on Twitter, where I post all my crazy stuff, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at CCNA Daily Tips. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.